Yo, welcome back. Right, guys. The video is just by myself today. No Adam here. I'll explain later on in the video why he's not here. But yeah, it's just solo going. So I've just come to unit, which is completely upside down still because I've been too busy even to have a day in here, tidying up and sorting stuff out. So I've got the chaser in the van. It's a job that we've been to 16 times. We rewired it. They've had the kitchen done. Now it's utility. So we put one radial feed in. We're just putting 3 double sockets in. There's 3 downlights going. Got to tear a bit of the ceiling down and whatnot, but I'll see you there. Right, we're here. What we are going to do, tape measure, pencil. This is our old boiler feed we're bringing down. So there's going to be a few appliances below. We're going to do 2 double sockets below and a double socket on top of some worktop. This is what we put in originally because the boiler was originally on the other side of this wall. That's why that hole was drilled through. And the plug, I think, it was very long ago. But the plumbers have been in, shifted that. So we're going to be chasing this in the wall with the Metabo, which is there and there. I've got the new one. Haha. I mean the new model that Adam's got the other one. We've got to put 3 spotlights in. So originally we put a pendant in behind and we're going to do a channel. We've got the stud finder behind. We'll take some cups or maybe a channel out the ceiling, put it across, and then we've also got to take a feed from there, permanent feed into here, which will be a downstairs toilet. Switch possibly on the inside in the plaster work. Switch potentially this side, I'm not sure yet. Drill straight through to the other side and a switch for the utility, his utility room, sorry. And yeah, so I'm going to set up. We've got the spirit level, it's too small for a laser in here. Bring down, chase across, use the chaser, scoop the boxes out. I've got some oval conduit there, some all-round band to get it nice and neat for a Monday. And yeah, I'll jump back as and when we're doing stuff. Right, so what we've done, I've worked out the spacings. There's going to be a gap between appliances. And yes, you could turn around and say, Nick, it's on a 20 amp supply and it's feeding 3 appliances. I'm not concerned at all, guys. So please don't be too, as though some people's kitchens or houses are run on a 20 amp radial circuit. I'm sure a washing machine, a tumble dryer and a fridge is going to be fine. The problem is this was all put in for the boiler. Originally, this was going to come off the kitchen and come through because the kitchen was the old doorway, kitchen's across this wall. The customer wants to reutilize what is the temporary boiler supply in here. We can't really pick anything up above to go to the board because the bathroom's been fitted and the carpet upstairs. So we're not going to be sort of picking that up. All we've done, 2 lines here, putting a single there so it fits between, so this will plug into this and this will plug in between here with the gap in between. Double socket on the surface just in case. I'm going to get the chaser out now, set the right depth, chase down and across. We'll just drill through into the stud work to pop behind. This is the void we've got here. So more mess, more noise, and it's horrible. I've got all the clothes on, I even put trousers on today. In one of them muggy days, it's like, I'm sweating, but we will persevere and we'll get through this. And also I've got to be a plumber this afternoon. My other half's nan's got a leak under her sink, so I'm gonna fix that. But a bit of time has passed. I've created lots of mess, as you can see here. Little tiny room, I've got all my stuff in. It's one thing with Adam not being here is you forget how much when you work by yourself is coming in and out with stuff. I've gone to the van 64 times already to go and grab stuff, which sucks. But it is what it is. Back to the way it was for a bit. Across, all round banded, socket in. I need to get some penny washers. Bricks sort of crumble behind, but it's in and it's level. Up and up and up, going across. When we were chasing, we found the old lead gas pipe, which was just ran like this because this originally here was the old kitchen, very small kitchen for what it was, not like that new beautiful one next door. That went across there, and then I found another gas pipe which runs up here, which one of them, they've all been cut off. It was lead when they first bought the house, when we first rewired it, they had it cut off instantly, and then the boiler, the gas is just next to the boiler, it's under the stairs. So we ain't got to worry about that. But like I've said in previous videos, when you start using chasers and drills and everything, I've been there and done it loads of times. Make sure as soon as you walk into the property, where is the mains water stop tap? Where is the gas stop tap? Oil will always be outside, but it should never be run up a wall anyway. But always double check for them 2 things. If you're new to the trade, you're new in it and you're an apprentice or whatever you are, make sure you find them, even if it's for the small job, even if it's stuff like I had years ago. This was a bit of a doozy on my part. Bungalow, brand new bungalow that I went and wired up for a customer from where I used to live in Nosal, and I just finished everything. I just ticked the board off, signed it all off, labelled it up, all this sort of stuff last day, and he said, "Oh Nick, before you go, I just need the mirror hanging up. Can you help me put the mirror up in the bathroom?" I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem at all." Like, I think I had my combi drill with one of the tile drill bits, like the angled triangular ones on it. I said, "Yeah, no worries." He marked it all up for me with the Sharpie. It was just 2 holes to drill, just because I had the stuff. So there's me with the dustpan below, drilling it. First hole went fine. Second hole, the drill just gave way. And I was, "Oh, that's weird." I pulled it out, and this water just shot out the tile, and I was like, oh my God. And we couldn't, even though it was new, I couldn't remember where the mains water stop tap was. And the customer was there. He then started to panic. We couldn't figure out what was going on. And it wasn't, I didn't go through the water as in the, for the cold water. I actually went through a heating pipe that was in the wall for the towel rail that was in the bathroom. So even when we turned the main water stop tap off, nothing happened because all I was doing was draining the system down that was obviously pressurized, because the heating system was pressurized. And he ended up having to replace, it was that much water came out. I think the tiles ended up coming off and the plasterboard being replaced because it got that wet inside. I managed to pretty much fill the cavity up, the brickwork cavity up with all the water. And I had insurance and everything at the time, but he was so annoyed, but I think he was more at himself rather than put the blame on me. He was annoyed at me for about 10 seconds, and I think he then shifted the blame on himself. But that's the thing, I didn't know they were there, he didn't know they were there, and unfortunately I'm the one that drilled through it because he asked me to and I did a favour. And then another time as well, I'll tell a story in another video, is you know when your wrist needs to click? I literally helped a friend's mom out when I was 18 to change their shower over, and as I took the shower cover off, that's all I did, the main pipe came out the back, and that was just thousands of pounds worth of damage, which didn't fall on me. It was a house insurance jobby, but yeah, absolute nightmare. So always double check gas and water. Obviously, you know where the electrics are, being the electrician, but just double check. I'm just gonna start putting, I've got all this in already. I'm just gonna put a few more clips in. If you don't know what I'm on about, get some all-round band, bend it over. We do a chase normally about to 20 mil with the chaser. You set the depth on there. That's a bit more than 20 mil. Cut 5 holes out of all-round band, bend it over in the center, plug it and screw it. Job's a good one. And then when your oval goes in, as you push it in, you just bend it over, and it's easy as that. Get that in, I'll start running some cables in, and I'm going to have fun trying to pull the ceiling down a little bit. Luckily we've got some tools for the job, it's just getting a bit messy. Okay, now this is all done, I'm just going to stick some ideals on the end of that for the time being for the plasterer. I've just got the detection, it's called the Detect 120. This is the stud finder that I've got, hang on. Yep. I've gone across just briefly and put a mark everywhere there's a stud, but there seems to be so many, like way more than there should be. I'm 99% sure the joists run this way from when we rewired it upstairs last year, which shouldn't be a problem from taking a cable, a permanent feed across into the bathroom, because we should be able to just run straight across. But I was going to just do downlight holes, 4-inch holes to then cut through each individual joist. But I think because there's so many, I'm just going to get the 6-foot level, like we've done loads of times, draw either side, take a channel, don't do it dead center, because obviously we want our lights in the center of the ceiling. Come to the left or right a bit, whatever I want. Do that, and then we should be able to rod straight over to this one. So we're just going to do a dog leg. We'll do one in front of the door, one here, and one here. But thinking about it as well, is this door here, this window is becoming a door, so that bit is being blocked up and this bit is being a sort of side door. So realistically, we're going to want a two-way switch in, which the customers even said to me about it. We could have just done it and then gone, not my house, afterwards, but that's not professional. That's not what we're about. So I'm going to just run a 3-core in, whether or not we just have to cut a bit more of the, oh God, my phone's getting mental. I just put a picture on Instagram. Taking a 3-core cable across and just do it on this plasterboard wall. We can take a few boards off on the inside. It's been boarded both sides, but it should be fairly straightforward, just so we can get a cable out there. It's there then, and when she says, oh, we're gonna need another switch, you're like, don't worry about it, done it. Yeah, as Jack from JRC would say, big up yourself, which I presume means like, do good things that you've done well. That's a do, anyway. Well, that was all fun and games. Wear a mask, wear goggles. Yes, I've cut the ceiling, and yes, when we originally came and did the rewire a year and a half ago, everything was tested for asbestos. We don't cut ceilings down unless it's checked. I think you're okay if you're past 1995. Don't quote me on that whatsoever. You check for yourself, but it was then stopped being used. So like new builds, you'd be absolutely fine. So you still wear a mask and wear glasses and everything. You don't want to breathe it in because it ain't good for you. But do wear stuff. And yes, before I get a billion comments, everything's been checked, because the last thing I want to be doing is first of all breathing it in myself, and second of all doing it for other people. So what we've done is took a slither, that one, unfortunately broken half, that one and that one, but it's double boarded, it's overboarded, and it's lath and plaster, which has got the horsehair and the wood in it, which you can see on the floor. So instead of me having to, because if you ever try and multi-tool lath and plaster, it's virtually impossible, because what happens is once you get through the very hard plaster that's holding it together, when you try and go through the wood doesn't actually cut very properly unless you like got a brand new blade. It just vibrates, and all you end up doing is just vibrating the whole ceiling. So I've smashed it with a hammer, but left where the joists are here. So when we put the plasterboard back up, we still have the same thickness we can screw to, so the board will still sit flush. If you have what you've done here, when that fell apart, I'll have to pack that up, because if I try and put a screw in it, it will pinch it too high to the ceiling. But we have got a lip here, there, and there. So I'm not really going to have an issue with it.
I was just about to say, don't listen to a word he says.
Well, I'm going to have to delete that now. Next thing I'm going to do is map out, I know where the joists run now, is map out my spotlights. Very close, it's going to be this run here, just shift it over a little bit, maybe a bit this way. This one's going to be dead centre from this one, and then same across there. We can get the 1mm over, link that through, link it over into the downstairs toilet, and started looking somewhere a bit closer to the end. So once I've done all this, I can then sort this out again. Right, the customer, bless her, she just made me a nice omelette, which was delicious, may I ask. I just sat there and had a chat with her. Lighting cables were in, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. So what we're gonna do is pull this pendant up, pull it back to here, do a maintenance free joint, some Wagos or some Ideals, whatever we fancy. In a box, and that'll be our first point. But because this is all getting skimmed, I'm just going to dangle down a pendant on a cable for now. I'll just reuse that pendant, dangle it down on this, because this is going to be our leg. Same thing here. I put the cables in here, so the bathroom, the switch for in here is going to be in here, and equally the switch for the utility room is going to be in here. We're not sure which way the doorway's going. Customers run through everything with us. We're not sure if it's going to be a sliding door, a folding door, in, out, shake it all about. And there's no room here to have an internal switch. Me and Adam just put this in for the time being, just so when this room was empty, it was just accessible and useful. I could have put the switch externally here, but then again, I don't want people having being able to turn stuff off from outside in, because of the way the door sits. So I'm happy with it being here. It's within arm's reach. As soon as you open this door, lights on, especially when you come around here as well. I've dropped the cable down here. There's a stud work here, so I'm going to have to raise the switch up a little bit. Just speak to the customer about that, make sure she's happy with it. And here for the two-way, so there's a 3-core running in that. The 3-core I ran in the stud work, so I took this piece off and this piece, and I've just gone around within zones on that, because I know what you lot like to say about zoning. I wouldn't say you lot, some people seem to think zones don't exist, or that I make zones up. Isn't the case. I have done my qualifications a long time ago. Adam's just rang me as well. I'll get into what Adam's at college today, hence why he's not with me. I just thought I'd build some suspense. He's back at college. He should be sitting his 18th edition within a week or two, I think. He's done some mock exams today. And then I think there's 1 or 2 more things he has to tick off to then go and start his AM2 or AM2S. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not quite up to scratch with it. But we have said I'm going to get a list of materials from a few people that I know, get them, and he's going to do a few practice runs through on his AM2 or AM2S, whichever one it is, in the unit. And if the guys at his college, some of his mates, want to come and do a few practice runs as well, I'm going to get excess materials. We'll whiz the camera around in there as of when we do it, when we get some spare time. but just to give them guys a bit more of a head start, a bit of a practice for doing it. We don't know the ins and the outs exactly what the exam entails because that's all confidential and you're not allowed to know it really, but we can sort of get the gist of it from pictures we can see online. So I can do a little bit of a rig up for them, get them a time limit on it, get them some testing, do what they sort of have to do. Not exactly, but enough that they've got a bit of practice and they know the time allowances for sort of how many hours they can spend on a few bends, making the board up. I think there's a 3-phase motor that has to go in with an ISO, some tray work. I don't know, I've never done it, so I never did an apprenticeship. I'm not a real electrician, as some people like to say online. So I'm just going to get a few more things done here, knock the power off, and then I have swept. There's a pile of stuff here. Pack all my many power tools away, hoover up, give it a dust, jobs are good, and so I'll run you around at the end. So that's it. We have a light that works. We've got our cables curled up in the back. Got cables up there, ready for the bathroom light, and the double switch to go on. Got the light there, this on here. I've livened this up, so in case anyone wants to hang a wall covered up onto it and it's the cable, then they'll know about it. That's all done. Ceiling's back in place, ready to be skimmed. So it's around 3 o'clock, so it's taken a while for me. Just cracking on, had a few podcasts on my ears, which was nice, and back out again tomorrow with Ad. We're back over the big job in Utoxeter, so we'll get a video there. I'm glad to be back, got a new smile on my face, and back enjoying it, so I will see you guys on the next one. Take care now.